Alright, a lot of people ask me which builds are the best for Death Sentence, and I said I would upload a video with some strong stuff at one point. So here they are, 3 very overpowered builds. Before starting, I would advise against the first build on this list in general, but especially if you are new to Death Sentence. Also keep in mind that I would not call those the best builds, as I believe that it's a subjective matter and there's more factors that should be considered when talking about it. What I can guarantee though, is that all of them are at least overpowered. Don't treat them as free builds that will make you unkillable, because that is not the only factor I take into consideration. Free builds, 3 of them specialize in different things. Alright, let's start. When people talk about the best dodge build, they always mention Hacker with Goliaths. While I would agree that it's the best setup with all factors considered, I can't say it's the best setup for killing and maximizing the power Hacker can reach. If you know where enemies spawn and have basic understanding about Death Sentence, this build will outperform pretty much everything. Reaching high kill count with Goliaths is easy, but reaching a much higher kill count with this setup is even easier. And don't even try to tell me it's a bad build since it does not have 9 lives, because it's not made for newer players. And if you, as someone who has played quite a bit of DS, keeps dying with it to the point where you need it, then I don't think 9 lives would help you either. Remember when I said that I'm against this build? Let me tell you why. If you are new to DS, survivability should matter more, and while this build has no issues with it, it won't really do better than the other 2 builds I will talk about soon. The more you kill, the better this build gets, and if you are new, then I really doubt you're gonna understand how to spawn trap all enemies. This build is made only with you in mind. You have Hostage Taker, Body Expertise, Bulletstorm, and Sneaky Bastard. You can share your ammo bags with others, but you mainly want them for yourself, and you don't have Inspire either. And don't get me wrong, I'm fine with non-Inspire players who can res you manually without problems, but the problem is that vast majority can't do that. It's not a necessary skill, but you have to be sure you won't ruin games for others by doing this. On top of that, there's a cringe issue running in the Death Sentence community at the moment. People who run such builds like to flex how they get more kills than everyone else in the team, and it's so cringe that I can't stand it. While of course the chances of you dying are lowered if there are fewer enemies on the map, that also does not mean kills are the only thing that matter. And flexing with kills while running such stupid builds as this one is dumb to say the least. You may ask, why did I include this build in the first place then? Well, there are 2 reasons. Since I'm making a video on broken setups, I don't think I can skip something like this. It would not be an honest video if I did. I advise against it, but that doesn't mean you should not play it if you know how to do that. If you can res your down teammates just fine, and don't suffer from the fuck objectives, I need to have most kills syndrome, then there's nothing wrong. If you're playing this build well, then you will be able to have at least 15 kills per minute while doing objectives and helping your down teammates. Well, technically you can say this build does not specialize in anything, but being good at everything is something too. Whatever, you know what I mean. Don't think I can tell you much about this one, because everyone has seen it already at least 1,000 times. The only thing this build really lacks is Unseen Strike for dozers. But no worries, this is where your HE Judge will help you. Use it to break their head cover, and as long as you have the overkill boost on, you should be fine. Although remember that you're playing Kingpin, so green dozers are the biggest issue for you. This build is included in this list because overall, excluding greenies, it doesn't really have any downsides. You're mobile, you deal lots of damage, the survivability with fax is very high, the perk is very strong, you have 2 converts, and have absolutely zero issues with helping down teammates because of Inspire and Painkillers. I really doubt you're gonna need all 14 first aid kits for yourself either, so don't hesitate to pre-place them in some spots or just give them to your team. You might have noticed the detection risk is at 26, but it's not a big deal at all. If you're new to Death Sentence and need a Kingpin build, then this is it. If you have any questions regarding the setup, ask in the comments and I'll answer as long as I can, because I just cannot come up with anything worth mentioning considering how well known this build is. I built it a bit differently compared to what most people do, because there's nothing in the Silent Killer tree. And guess what? It doesn't matter. While the professional boost would be cool, it's not like you necessarily need it, and since you're so tanky, I really doubt optical illusions should be your priority either. This one was built with max tankiness in mind, while still having some skills that could help your team. I don't think there's one specific best build in the game, but when it comes to tankiness and making Death Sentence as easy as possible for newer players, then I don't think I can pick anything else. This setup basically turns Death Sentence into Death Wish, and if you struggle while playing it, then I can't help you. It just can't get any easier. Now, I know some people prefer going for Unseen Strike basic over body expertise on LMG builds, and while I don't think it's bad, I also think body expertise is a much better choice, especially on a build like this. Unseen Strike is there mainly to help you with dozers. It makes dozer shredding easier, but it's not like you can't kill them without it either. Why did I say especially on a build like this? It's pretty simple. You're Stoic with ICTV. That means dozers are nothing but more tanky heavy SWATs that do not do anything to you in the first place. Your damage against them isn't amazing, but you can just fight them face to face without caring, and nothing bad should happen as long as you have a first aid kit nearby. Speaking of them, do the same thing as with the Kingpin build. Pre-place your facts since it's rather impossible you'll need all of them for yourself. If this build has any weakness, then that would be its killing potential. But it's not bad at it either, don't get me wrong. It's just that if you compare it to stuff like Bulletstorm, Akimbo CR, then you can see there's a pretty huge gap. But it's an LMG with body expertise nonetheless, so there really isn't any problem. And just like with the previous build, I don't think I can tell you much more. If you have any reasonable questions, then just ask and I'll see if I can help you. Nearly every video contains this build, and it's not surprising. It's so broken that I have no idea why it remains unnerfed. There you go, 3 different builds, one for max damage, one that is good at everything, and one that is unkillable. If you're looking for builds that can help you with your death sentence mess, or whatever your goal is, then that's all you need. I'm gonna say this again, if you have any question, then just ask as long as it's logical. A lot of people complain that I don't reply to a lot of comments, but has anyone ever wondered why I straight up ignore some of them? If I get spammed with questions like, what are your mods, what is your HUD, when my mod list is in the description under every video, which means some basic research is enough to find what you want, or if people ask, build, just because they're too lazy to watch the video, then of course I will ignore them. Thanks for watching, have a good day or night.